Hey everybody, it's Derek Christensen here. I'm a estate planning and probate attorney in Dallas, Texas. Today I wanted to talk about why do we even need probate? What's the point of probate? And trust me, I've asked myself that and I've come up with a couple answers, so hopefully that helps you out. But in the meantime, if you want to reach out to me, you can email me directly, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawplc.com, or you can find me on my website, www.legionlawplc.com. So with that, let's dive right in. Now, this is a question that I got asked like 20 million times by a client who was going through probate where it was just her and her mom, and that was it. And the mom passed away, the mom was not married, there was only one child, and they just wanted to transfer one house from the mom to the child, and that's it. But unfortunately, because the mom died without a will, because the mom didn't have any estate plan in place, the mother's estate had to go through the worst form of probate. The heirship proceeding is what it's called. And unfortunately, the client, the daughter, has to wait 6 months and pay a lot of money, and it was just such a pain in the butt for her, and she was quite upset, and understandably so. So I'm going to play devil's advocate and pretend like I'm the government for a second, or I'm a title company or a bank. Probate's actually really, really important, and the reason why is because people are people, and sometimes they bend the truth, sometimes they're flat out lying. And when somebody passes away, oftentimes people view the passing away of a loved one as pennies from heaven. They mourn the loss of a loved one, of course, or whatever family dynamics going on there, but there is a slight thought on everyone's mind after somebody passes away. Did I receive something? Do I get free money? And while it's technically not free money, it oftentimes is viewed that way, and it makes people act differently. And those people acting differently will sometimes commit fraud. They will lie and they will say, I am the only child, please give me everything, instead of giving half of the free money to my sister. I don't want to even mention her. So technically speaking, if I wanted to, I could go before a judge and I could lie on everything. I could say, I'm an only child, there's no one else who's supposed to receive anything, give me everything. And a judge doesn't know better, to be frank. They aren't valid. A judge is not researching every family tree that runs into their court. So they need a process in place to make sure that the accurate information is actually happening and that the actual people who deserve it, who deserve the free money, the assets from the estate, that actually happens correctly. So the judge needs probate to make sure the information is done correctly, and there are systems in place to let people contest things, to change things, to make sure that the actual information actually happens correctly. Now, that's from the judge's perspective, but once the judge signs the order and actually has a document in hand that says, great, you're good to go, that document is going to go to title companies and banks and brokerage services, where they will look at that document and it will say, this person's entitled to this, that person's entitled to that, and then they will take those assets that are held in the deceased person's name and give it over to those people. Now, the third parties, like banks, title companies, brokerages, they need this document because they're relying on it. They are thinking, if I give $1 million to the wrong person, I'm going to get sued for $1 million from the right person. And so I need something to verify I'm not liable if I make the wrong transfer, and I'm going to put the blame on the judge for messing things up, and you can't hold me accountable for that. You got to go figure it out with the judge and the other person who stole the money, not the bank. So the bank is kind of covering their butt on this one, which is, unfortunate, but it makes sense. There's a lot of money that's getting transferred. The house is probably the most important asset of anyone's estate. So if you transfer the house incorrectly, all sorts of very, very large financial mistakes can be made if there is fraud, if there is someone lying and trying to cheat and steal and, finagle their way through the top. So that is why we have probate. It's to set systems and checks and balances in place to make sure fraud and terrible, awful people trying to steal free money from others doesn't happen. Now, it happens more often than you would think. It's very unfortunate, but it's kind of where one person ruins everything for everyone else, right? And that's why we have the system in place. However, if you want to just completely avoid that system, if you want to just go to the bank and say, hey, we already done everything, we don't need to get a judge involved, we don't need probate whatsoever, you can watch my other videos about trusts, about how to avoid probate entirely. Just the previous video I made was talking about beneficiary designations, trusts, and other ways that you can avoid probate and not have to worry about banks flipping out if you didn't get the judge's signature. So I strongly recommend you check those out, or you email me directly. Again, you can find me in my email, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com, or you can find me at my website, www.legionlawpllc.com, where you can go to our Contact Us page, schedule a free consultation over the phone directly onto my calendar. So with that, thanks for watching and have a great day.